Yeah, sure thing.
Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yep.
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just in the ashes of Twitter outrage, we rise like a phoenix to come here and kick the reel. And, just, man, I had a lot of conversations this past weekend, man. Like,
you said rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Like, normally when people talk about phoenixes and rising, it's like a rebirth. Like, I don't feel exactly reborn. I don't feel renewed. Like, my enthusiasm, my spirit has not changed from some of the stuff I saw over the weekend. I'm just kind of just like, did they really just do this? Are they really gonna do this?
I spent my weekend talking to fans, wrestlers, people in wrestling. And it was just so much.
There are things that you told me that I wish you hadn't. As far as some of these ideas, it's like there's a way to do the thing that you know I'm mad about or whatever else that they can do and do it tastefully. I'll be on board. But the way this is going so far, I'm just like, this better be worth it, damn it, or I might just be done.
Man, yeah. Man, I guess we should get it cracking here. So, like, Tony Khan.
And I'm sorry to the listeners because, like, you know, Rich knows shit and knows people or whatever else, and I'm privy to some of the information. And I've had to play dumb on a lot of stuff for a long time. Like, Rich knew that stuff about, like, you know, Danielson and winning the belt at Wembley and all that kind of shit. And I just had to play dumb with it. And I think if you go back to our archive, you can see us arguing about, like, should he have actually won it? And I still hold the position, like, it was an all-time match, and it was an all-time moment, and everything they've done since then has, like, made me, as made people that have been like, they should have went with Hangman Page be justified in saying, hey, you could have avoided some of this bullshit. I disagree because, obviously, one decision is not compounding to them making a bunch of terrible decisions on the backside of that, but that is still the first step amongst all this stuff. So, yeah, man, just the beginning of this conversation or whatever else, just letting y'all hear that, like, there's some stuff that Rich knows that I've been privy to, and I might not like it. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to explain myself. I'm sorry. Y'all got to listen to the show, and then if and when something comes up, we'll let you know. But I'm letting you know. I'm sorry to do one of those things. That's the anytime some news drops on Twitter, everyone's like, oh, I had that. Ryan Satin would do that shit, or Fightful, Sarah Sapp would do that shit. Oh yeah, and they would thought innuendo and all that kind of shit, and then the I tweets or whatever, we'd be like, shut the fuck up. You ain't gonna tell us? I'm sorry. If you want to tell me to shut the fuck up, I get it. I'm just sorry, and I'm frustrated, and I'm also like, bro, I didn't okay, so today I woke up at just before 8, right? I didn't eat anything at all until 8 p.m. So that's been one of the bad things I've had going on this day. So in competition with all this stuff, so that's why I'm ranting, right? I just recently got food into me, so I'm still just on edge. So I'm sorry for y'all listening about all that kind of stuff. If y'all be mad at me about hey James, shit, shut the fuck up. I try to stay out of it, but there's some stuff Rich told me, and I ain't exactly happy about it. So sorry, and we're gonna try to move around it and maneuver around it or whatever else about what's actually on TV versus what we may know, because plans change, but we are where we are now. And it looks like we'll see where it goes from here, but we are where we are right now.
Yeah, man. It's like this weekend, that graphic for that match dropped, and this was like a moment in the AEW fan base that I don't think has really happened before, because I think almost every other decision you had, and I think you still have some people trying to say, what's the problem with this and stuff like that, but they are far, far outnumbered.
Yeah. This is one of those match gets announced by WWE and everybody points and laughs or talks about how jaded and cynical they are. And you have people that will be like, well, what's wrong with it in a vacuum? And then everybody has a history of that company and how it was ran for so long. And now, because of what's been happening the last few months in AEW, now you have earned cynicism for the first time really ever in AEW history. And people are still trying to defend this shit. And we're like, nah, bro, we've just been fed a whole fall and now beginning of the winter of bullshit. We're tired of eating bullshit.
Yeah, it is. That match got announced, and it was a 12-man tag. On one side, you got the Learning Tree and the Death Riders, essentially. Insane when you think about the history of Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho in this company, without any real resolution or any attempt at getting these guys on the same page. Not a hallway segment, not like just a quick making a deal, nothing.
And with and also with what is the loose mission statement behind Moxley and his method of madness the past ever since he came back, about he's tired of bullshit. And then now he's about to tag with this fucking ham, Chris Jericho.
And then on the other side,
hi guys, where's the plastic bag? Choke him to death. Suffocate this man.
And on the other side, we've got, led by Big Cope, FTR, Powerhouse Hobbs, all the way in the back of the graphic after his title shot, and the Outrunners. So I saw this match graphic, and I was just like, huh? And then I just checked Twitter immediately, because I had got it sent to me or whatever in the Discord. And I was like, I know people ain't going to be happy about this. And they put Tony Khan on the grill, a ratio almost like no other. A ratio so funny that he was later trying to tweet Kenny Omega match graphics just to get some positivity going. People was like, you ain't gonna Kenny Omega your way out of this one or whatever. I just saw it and looked at it like it was a fundamental, seeing the Death Riders and the Learning Tree on one side is dumb. Then seeing the Moxley, Copeland, and Jericho kind of, three-way axis of evil or whatever, as far as being at the top of this promotion right now, it all linking up together. And then it's just you're like, all right, man, why do we have to suffer through this? Like, and I just don't, like, so many people are like, fuck this company. Like, they're advertising, like, they're putting these clips up of Edge facing off with Chris Jericho, and then it's like, renew the rivalry across 4 decades and stuff. And I'm like, yo, man, you just got to know what the people are up for, and this is not it. Like, this is not it. Like, just think about this roster that we have, like, at Tony Khan has at his disposal, and this is the combination that we have come up with. And to me, it just stinks of, like, motherfuckers being backstage and being like, you know, I'm familiar with him. We know what we're doing. If you guys can, you know, just watch the television, you can see the way this promotion went the first half of 2024 and what it's been since. It feels like it's been one kind of regime over to another, seemingly. And it's like, it feels a little bit like, yeah, these young guys, they can't do it, quote unquote. They can't do it the way the veterans can. When, James, I don't know about you, I don't think the answer has ever in the history of wrestling be the long-term answer to go back to the old guys. That's never been the answer.
No, not. And if it is the answer, it's to go back to the old guys so that the old guys can put over the next crop of young guys. Within an 18-month, 12-month span. It's never, you know, it's never like, yeah, let the old guard be on top and then let them just run through everybody like they Bob Hollies. No.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster.
This graphic.
That's a recipe for your young guys then leaving the other company and becoming the guys for the young guys, and then the other side that doesn't have any young guys, then get young guys from your ass.
Get refreshed.
Yeah.
Like, you can just see the outrage in the fan base to just feeling like this has broken a lot of them, and this is like not the people that don't default to not the people that were basically like, I'm just waiting for WWE to be good again, essentially, and, you know, whatever. And then they're kind of, you know, there's a big switch up with them, whatever. Mm-hmm. There are people that have, like, not considered AEW an alternative, that consider AEW their choice, that are speaking up about this. Mm-hmm. That is like, yo, this isn't it. And I think the company should be very cognizant of that. Like, and there is people with podcasts, people like myself. It's like, yo, like, I go on Twitter, and, you know, I basically like to save everything for the podcast that I like to do, just because it's a lot cleaner that way. Let's just say that, than having tweets out there all the time. Like, if you want to hear this shit, you got to come get the context, pretty much. But I just saw a lot of the people, and it was just an unfamiliar feeling, like, for some of these folks. And it was just like, how do we get here? How do we get out of this? Well, and it feels like we're knee deep in whatever this is, because there's so much more of this essentially to go.
Well, I think the important context is that it was also paired with, like, that news about Darby. Yeah. That's the most important. That's the important part about this. Like, if that match is a match, it gets less. But I believe that one. I believe the Darby news dropped first that day, and then you get that match graphic, and you're like, oh, nah, man. You mean to tell me that, like, the person, for those that may be on a rock or whatever else that's listening through this whole 12-man tag thing that we're talking about for Collision, we're reporting from Fightful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fightful reported that Darby Allin is not going to be, like, involved in plans with AEW because he's going to finally go on his trip to Everest that he got delayed last year when he got fucked up and almost died twice or whatever else. So now he wants to try it again. He wants to try to die for real on the mountain. So in the Himalayas, like a real player. So yeah, man, it's just, that was almost everybody. That was like an open secret that, like, that the session plan was for Darby to win the title, or at least that's what people were still under the presumption of. So when he's out the picture, it's like, he's not going to come back until maybe All In. That's fucking July. It means you got to deal with the whole first half of the year of potentially this. Of Death Riders on top with weak baby faces or strong baby faces, but like nowhere near the title. And it's very frustrating. And especially after what we've seen from them of late, especially after that World's End match. It's just a disaster for all parties involved. So yeah, it's very frustrating. And it leaves you where it's like there, the point of a heel champion or someone on top that's a heel is like there's somebody that's going to come along and right the wrongs. Well, he's 6 months away.
Yeah, and there's a strong call to just pivot to the likes of Kenny Omega or Will Ospreay, Hangman Page, Swerve, one of these guys to like end this now, put us out of our misery. And like, I think the thing with Darby too is a lot of what I was saying. There's no guarantee that he was going to be either over or available later on. Could be an injury. And I was like, it was so stupid to make him look that bad between All In, All Out, and then at Arthur Ashe. Yep. And then like losing other matches, like just getting beat by Brody King in the C2, getting killed by Claudio in the C2
because he went
thrown downstairs.
Forget losing to Claudio in the C2. It's the part where he lost to Claudio before then on TV, and then he lost to him again, which clearly meant like, okay, when he comes back and gets in on his way back, he'll finally beat Claudio then because Claudio's a gatekeeper. That's clearly all that was. But now that he's going to be gone for 7 months, who gives a shit?
Right. Like, and they beat this guy down so much. And this guy's been historically one of the most over guys in the history of the promotion, one of the greatest stars in the history of the promotion. I'm sorry, I don't think he necessarily needs Jon Moxley's help to certify him as a main event guy. Like, did we decide this guy had never proven anything before, had never drawn numbers, had never main evented a pay-per-view, had never had great matches? He's been a greater wrestler. Like, James, if we were to say, is he one of the 5 to 10 best wrestlers in the history of AEW?
He's definitely one of the top 10. 5 is rarefied air because you have things like Will Ospreay, Swerve, Heyman Page, the Young Bucks, Lucha Bros, that sort of thing. But he's definitely in that conversation. He's definitely easily in the top 10.
All right. Like, I don't think this is a thing to necessarily make Darby Allin that's necessary. This is just something they chose, essentially to do. But it's like the absence just throws a lot into it puts us in a status now where we feel like we're in the middle.
We're stuck in the status quo that no one is happy with.
Yep. And it's just like, I don't want to continue to take this ride. Please let me out the car like Ricky and Boys in the Hood. Yep. Please, old dog, can you pull over? Let me out. And the people that are, we're discussing this stuff like with in Discords and, Twitter, like this is the worst kind of criticism for Tony Khan because this is we're not grifting.
Nope.
This is genuine. It's like you can't airbrush this. You can't dismiss this as like bad faith. Like there was a question to him in the press conference, I want to say maybe 2 months ago. It was somebody, I think, from F4W, if I'm not mistaken, and it was one of their lower level reporters or whatever that had basically asked Tony Khan about the bad faith, criticism of AEW. I'm like, well, what about the good faith criticism? Like, have we ever started to crack that open? Because
I mean, it was addressed a lot last year when it came to the women's division, right? So, like, let's not act like there was never anything there. Like, granted, there's people that that will latch onto the good faith criticism and then turn into bad faith, but we aren't operating in that. Like, we actually want all these wrestling companies to succeed. Like, we actually want pro wrestling to be, like, fun for us to watch everywhere. Just it ain't fun for us to watch everywhere, or there's too much of it. We can't watch all of it as much as we like. That's just life. So, yeah. That's where we are with this one in particular. Like, right now, this main event scene is a mess. It's a toxic, and outside of changing it, outside of changing the act, outside of changing the motivation for the act, outside of just changing who has the belt, I don't know what's going to fix this soon.
And it feels like even snapping our fingers and like, say like, they do a shock title change on Wednesday and strap up Hobbs, just do some left field shit, right? I think people would go crazy, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think that would not end up fixing the problem either, just knowing how like creatively fractured this company is behind the scenes. It's just like we have to it's almost like you have a job, right?
Then also, right, you start doing that, you start hot shotting the belt or you start that. Then it's like, all right, you put the belt onto Hobbs. He's not someone you expect to hold the belt long. So then you start this issue of like, now we start getting to the 1998 era of AEW when it comes, you compare to WWE, where it's like, now we're just starting to get to the point where like, we used to have these long reigns that matter. Now we're going to start hot shotting this shit to everybody.
Yeah. And
or not hot shotting, but like hot potatoing.
Yeah. I just think, I think the people that are in the company need to kind of remember why they're there. And, it's hard to really say because, like, I don't work there or anything. So, like, and it's like, it's hard to see. Yeah, I can only see what I see on screen and how it plays out, right? But, like, it feels like some things are clearly working and then some things aren't. I think there needs to be more collaboration. Because I think there's the
wrestlers, the talent
between the wrestlers, between the whoever's putting the programs together and stuff like that. Like there needs to be more.
That falls on Tony Khan.
Look, there needs to be more of this and less of we'll do our thing over here. We'll box you out here. We'll like there needs to be
someone to say we don't give a fuck about what your problems are. You need to go out there and do the matches I tell you to because I pay your checks. Just like what probably happens in the other area, in the other company. Yeah, maybe. We didn't have these. We didn't have. I think there's
a very serious issue. I think there's a very serious issue with some of the older wrestlers in AEW, and I'll leave it at that. And I think it's threatening this company. Like as far as like, it's gonna be hard for people to like. It's almost like you got to wait it out almost, but hopefully it's like, yeah, you don't got to wait too long and then there is no quote unquote company or whatever. So like, it's like, there's, I don't know, man. I think there's too many people taking and not enough giving going on.
Yeah. So Dr. Larry said too many WWE heads not want to do business. The problem is that they don't want to do business. The problem is that like, they don't want to like, when they don't have anything, get the fuck off TV and stay away for a minute. That's also that's probably the bigger problem, right? Like, there is no reason why Jericho is still running out the learning tree right now. He should take a break and come back. We've been saying that for about a year now. He just don't want to go. He'll do Ring of Honor, but he just won't go home. I'm not gonna make any sorts of. Well, actually, fuck it, because the inauguration is next Monday. January 6th, his wife was there. So like, it's a lot of, maybe, I don't know why he don't want to go home, but he don't want to go home. So you got that. Then it's people that just like, it's gotta be one way. And I gotta tell you, like, for much as I hated that character, like, Tony Khan need to be like Marlo Stanfield in The Wire and be like, it's the other way. It's the other way. I run this, you don't.
Yeah. Like it's he's got to be less of a fan to these people and want to, do right by them and, and more like just like
is Danielson still backstage anymore?
Yeah. I believe he is. Like
it feels like when he retired, part of AEW died. It really does. This shit was not happening this way before he retired. Like, yeah, you had to see CM Punk shit or whatever else here and there, but it was not this bad. It wasn't even close. This shit is like, Big Bry gone? All right, it's not time for me to act up. He ain't on screen no more. What are you gonna do? We suffocate him on air. He ain't gonna come back here and get vengeance. And now he's acting up. Now everybody's acting up. They showing their ass.
I sure wish he would have had the propensity or excitement to drop the belt to somebody else.
Well, remember Rich? Remember what the story was before it did about what was going to happen in his hometown to retire? Well,
things changed.
That shit went up in there too. So
things changed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's move on, man. We'll get back to it. We got a show to review. Penta debuted in WWE last night, and his merch actually went live during the middle of the day, and I saw a great theory as to why. So, if you guys kind of remember, I think there was scuttlebutt that they actually got pushed off that first debut Netflix show. Like, they were really going to set the matchup there, but somebody probably auto set that to release that tweet a week later after he had already debuted. But since they just moved the match, nobody ever thought to change it, so that shit just came out anyway or whatever. I thought that was a great theory. But yeah, I saw this, and man, James, when Pentagon walked out, his music sucked.
I heard a bit of it. It sounded like generic Def Rebel bullshit. Yeah.
It was very bad. Pour one out for the Mikey Ruckus Lucha Brothers theme. That shit's a classic.
Yep.
But yeah, he looked refreshed, happy to be there. Got a great reaction. They shot off all the fire and pyro and everything like that. Gets in the ring. He's wrestling Chad Gable. It was a decent match. It's pretty much a match designed to show the 5 big moves he's gonna do. Show his entrance to the crowd, and show his taunts pretty much. Pretty slow kind of match. It was a very WWE
match.
Style. Yeah, it was. Okay. It was look, man. If you were one we saw the best of Pentagon already, man. So I hope everybody knows this. So. But they're reacting to him good. This was not some Shinsuke Nakamura day one performance where he goes crazy and then lays it down. This was this might have been as good as it gets for him. And they let him have the mic after he cut an English and Spanish promo. His kids were sitting ringside. His wife was there. He was very emotional. They said a bunch of kind of funny things on commentary. Welcome to the big time.
Oh, yeah. I heard about
the second greatest luchador ever.
Wait, what?
I was like, huh? I was like, so what happens when his brother joins the company? Does he go down one? What's how are we gonna handle that?
Well, Penta, everywhere they were, he was pushed as the bigger star. So I guess you could say that, but you know how that is. That's nonsense. Also, come on now, I love the fucking guy. I'm upset that he's there as opposed to a place that I actually would watch him more consistently. But are we just gonna pretend all of Mexican pro wrestling history? It's not like he's El Santo, for fuck's sake.
Right.
Can we? But it's their own historiology or whatever you want to call it. When they go out there and tell you that who was it? When they tell you that Tama Tonga, when he shows he had classics with he had classics with Evil. It's come on, man. You making shit up. You ain't gotta lie. He had great matches with people. Tama Tonga had great matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling with people. He had a great match with Okada. He had a great match with Goto. You ain't gotta lie and mention Evil for who, for fucking what? You can mention Shingo Takagi. It's fine. No, he did mention Shingo. He called him Shinto. Remember that?
Yeah.
Mango called him Shinto. But I gave him a prize from that. I focus on who the fuck are you to be lying to us telling me he had a great match with Evil? No one has a great match with Evil. Lying ass.
I think something else with Pentagon too is I think they are making a slight mistake with him though. They were going on and on about how spectacular he is and everything like that. And he had he was getting used to the ring, I think, in there. Obviously you're going to ropes rather than cables. There was a little mix up for him and stuff like that. I think just because they have just such a strict way of how they see luchadors, I think it would probably serve them better to push him as more a brutal guy, a guy that will hurt you.
Can they do that in WWE when they don't do blood and he's clearly remember that match he had
break
with
your arm.
break your arm, we'll pull out railroad spikes and have a damn horror movie match in it. You're like, yeah, they're not going to do that kind of stuff with him.
Yeah, like I think that is like a potential misstep for him. But man, you would have thought like
they should have saved that spectacular talk for when Phoenix shows up. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, like
because when he does that roadblock shit, they're going to lose their fucking minds.
Yeah,
they're not going to act like he walked ropes. They're going to like he walked water.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're selling these masks now for like $75, which is like,
and they gonna get it.
Look, them people getting robbed. Like they robbed. Like you can get illusion. Like them masks normally go way less than that, but they gonna rack up.
I will say this though. I don't know if you remember this. Like when Io first showed up, they were selling her masks on NXT, and them shits were going for like I don't know $50. They look like shit. This one actually looks good. Like these masks actually look decent. So,
yeah,
whatever. Because I would say this, like, if I could have got an Io Shirai Queen's Quest mask for $70, and it was actually something, hell, if for $100, it looked like her actual joint, or someone approached her actual joint, says it's looking like some pathetic looking shit, I would have considered it. Not that one they were selling back in 2000.
I got 3 masks for that price when I went to Mexico.
I know. Do we need to talk about the idiots that were making La Park comparisons?
Oh yeah, man. So I've seen multiple people saying like, yeah, this guy's just like La Parka or whatever, and I'm like,
this is not the chairman, brother. Sorry.
I like peace and love to La Parka, one of the great luchadors of all time. Yeah. Like love his work.
One of the greatest draws.
Like
the draw so great, another nigga ran off with the gimmick and also drew.
It's 2 La Parkas, yes. But
remember when the fake La Parka died and everyone had to be assured that like, no, the real La Parka's still with us. The other nigga is the one that stole the shit is dead. Don't worry, the one you care about is still kicking. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's how you know La Parka meant something to us.
So like, I never ever in my life equated Pentagon Jr. with La Parka.
Same. You know why?
Why?
Because the La Parka costume is a skeleton. Pentagon is just black and white. It's not a skeleton. I guess you could say like maybe the rib cage, maybe but it's not even close to like to a whole rib cage. Like it's just. Man, just
like a vampire or a zombie or something. I don't know.
I've seen people say he looked like a skeleton of a pirate, and I'm like, okay, because of the mask, maybe I get that, but I've never made that comparison ever in my life, ever. And I've been watching him for almost a decade at this point.
Yeah, there was an element when I was watching. I was like, huge fan of this guy. Was happy to see him, achieve like a lifelong goal of his. It sounds like or whatever. And, they ended up interviewing Rey Mysterio later on about him. And, I don't know how it's going to work out for him in the long run there. Like, let's keep it a stack. Like, who's he going to be with? Where's it going to end up by WrestleMania? I don't know.
I will say this. Out of all the masked luchadors I've seen in the One Nation Radio era, right? He's the one that I thought most easily translated to success for WWE. Because he's the one that can slow down. He's the one that has the most charisma out of all of them. Not saying that they don't, because his brother is super charismatic too, but Pitts is one of the most charismatic wrestlers I've ever seen charismatic wrestler I've ever seen in my life. And because of, the Lucha Underground gimmick, like he has a brutality and a methodical nature to him that lends itself towards the slow pace of WWE. The way they could push and sell that arm break spot always was there. But it always came down to, do I think that Vince McMahon would ever push a Mexican wrestler that's not Rey Mysterio Jr.? It was always, I'll believe it when I see it. So, I think they finally got their best shot at it. We'll see what they do with it. Now, if he shows up at WrestleMania 41 and they on the Modelo special selling agua frescas, I'm going to be like, all right, well, at least I got to see him tag with Ray. But we'll see. I'm hoping for the best for him. He's one of my
part of me like kind of
favorite tag teams of all time.
Yeah, one of the great, the rivalry with the Young Bucks. Like, there's going to be no more of those matches, for the time being.
For now.
And it's like, I wish there was more closure kind of there. I wish there was more appreciation for those guys between him and his brother. We'll never really know like what went down, to basically like get the plug pulled on him.
Look, bro.
This
shit's sad. We got Penta in WWE. We got Ray Phoenix. Basically, just getting
chilling at the house.
Just sidelined, right? Just being hidden from the world. And then we got Pat and fucking Death Riders. I fucking hate this.
Like, what simulation was this?
Look at my backdrop. I miss my trios team. This was my trios team. And they just all just split up. They just broke them all apart like pieces of fucking Voltron and scattered them across the fucking galaxy. Damn it.
Still got Alex Abrahantes around.
Yeah. But it ain't the same. It just ain't the same. It's like Prince Nada managing someone else past Swerve. It just ain't gonna hit the same.
Yeah. It was a decent match, gentlemen's 3 or whatever. But like, let's pump the brakes. I think people was acting like, Ric Flair just jumped promotions or something. And I was like, all right, man, let's hold it down, man. Like, so he's probably gonna have a real nice run and make a bunch of money. So shout out to him.
Yeah,
and work way less.
Yeah,
well, not less because you'll be working house shows and shit.
The funny part is gonna be like
taxing.
The funny part is like when they gonna catch him like getting changed backstage and realize that man's ripped to shreds and he wearing a bodysuit. They gonna be like, what the fuck, brother? Why are you wearing that bodysuit when you got abs?
Look, man, that man wearing that bodysuit for preservation. So the days where he gotta wear that shit, it's right. Like nothing's changed.
Yep. I know that. You know that. Yeah. But they're gonna be like, hey man, take that shit off, and they're gonna try to sell action figures with him without the joint on.
Dope. So best wishes to Penta.
Damn it.
In other news, Malakai Black allegedly is going to be finishing up with AEW, and I can't say it's coming too soon. The last time we saw him on TV, he was hugging and doing some We Are the World stuff with Adam Cole. And
was that last time we saw him?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know, because everything's mysterious with this guy, even like his, status within the company even. But if he's gone and he's presumably headed back to WWE, good riddance. You contributed not much. I think this is one of the weirdest pro wrestlers going. I think this is a lesson to be learned. I also think it is like when one I think he thinks the world needs to adjust to him rather than him like trying to make himself work with his surroundings. Essentially, everything has to be perfect. Essentially, and life's not perfect. Situations that aren't perfect, and it became. Whatever the situation is, it clearly became a difficult one to get the best out of him. Or whether it was injury, whether it was creative, whether it was motivation. I've done the thing where I counted how many losses he ever took and how many of them included goofiness and stuff like that. Not gonna do that today, but yeah, this is a big waste of time for me. I have one positive memory of him in this promotion, and it was like getting back in the ring to kick Cody like after he tried to fake retire. That was it.
Nah, there's also the Death Triangle in what do you call it? not Kings of Black. That's a tag team. What's the name of their other trios?
House of Black.
House of Black. That match is fucking awesome. It took a while because, you know, Phoenix got hurt or whatever, but that was fucking awesome. Yeah, man. And then didn't they also have a great match with the Elite too?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
I'm not saying it's a 5-star match, but it was great.
Yeah, I think it was like 4.5 or whatever.
Oh, I think it was only a classic.
Because they had just finished wrestling Death Triangle for a month, so I was like, yeah, this is below that. Like,
oh man. All right, so yeah, man, it's just in a way I understand because I'm not a creative myself. Like I'm not saying he's not, but I like as a person that's not creative, like I am not a person that's really that good at adapting on the fly to scenarios changing or whatever else changing, and then be able to still find your way to find your artistic, whatever your artistic, you know, like happy place is. And it don't seem like he ever found it once he touched like landing in AEW after a while and was told things have to adapt, and he wasn't able to adapt, and that sucks. My question is, if you had that kind of issue in AEW, all they ever tell you to do is adapt in WWE. So I don't know where you're ever going to be able to find that, but whatever. Like he's a guy that I'm not, you know, regardless of all this stuff happened, like I still like him, but it did not work out the way I thought it was going to at AEW, especially after the start, because the start was red hot and they went nowhere fast. And then when they kept making amendments and, you know, do the tag team thing, then it moved from the tag team thing to trios thing. And then it turned into it was going to be bring back the old Andrade and Black feud from NXT. And that got halted on, and like frustration quickly mounted for me. So yeah, like if he wants to leave, like most talent, if talent wants to leave, let him go. Like, I don't like what they're doing with Ray Phoenix. I don't like and now that this whole thing seems to be done with, then fine. He can find another place to work, and hopefully he can regain some of the stuff he had earned or you know, from people that thought highly of him over the past. Because what had been happening over the last couple of years was not fun for anyone.
I'll be relieved that we don't have to get any condescending videos in the car while he's wearing, reading glasses, yelling at the fans, telling us we didn't see what we saw, or we shouldn't believe the things that we saw on television, as far as him acting weird after matches and doing these fake jobs and then it looking like one thing and not another. I won't miss any of those. I wish him wild success. I hope he wins the championship in WWE and hits the lottery after, because it ain't, you know, it clearly, like, what I want to watch him on, it ain't gonna work. So best wishes to him. Holla. So
at Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey Mom, you seen my toothbrush? Yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Taxes was waiting around for your taxes to be done, which led to worrying about not getting any money back. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes in a day to get you up to $4,000 fast with a refund advance loan. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Expert filing only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Refund advance has $0 loan fees and 0% APR. Refund advance loans may be issued by First Century Bank, N.A. or WebBank. Terms apply. Subject to approval.
Let's talk about AEW Dynamite, because, man, I think this got received as a better show, I think, than the week before. But there were things I did not love on this show. So let's open up. We'll talk about, speaking of Buddy Matthews of House of Black, he wrestled Will Ospreay. And this was a really good match. It kind of seemed like the Ospreay epic condensed down to television, like that he was mass produced and kind of sell it like, hey man, this is can I just buy like just the standard one? And that's what this one was or whatever. There was a couple 6 spots
This is
in
Red
here
Magic.
though. What's up?
This is Red Magic.
Nah, not quite. This is like, it's like, hey man, we don't have quite the 5-star special today, but we've got like, we've got a condensed version of it. Here, you want to try this out?
Okay.
So, I thought there was the reverse GTS that he did. That shit was insane. Matthews and a lot of great physicality and athleticism in this. I didn't get a chance to watch this because I got to the TV at like 8:30. So I heard people complain about the reverse GTS because like Kenta had only done it like 2 or 3 times ever, and people were like, "Well, that's a move that like you hit with that, you're fucking done." And then I saw someone be like, "Every time Kenta did it, he never put anyone away." I was like, "Oh, yeah,
more bad faith, great."
More of that.
And granted, I didn't know Kenta ever did that, but once I found out, like, oh, he never actually put anyone away with it, I was like, well, then. If he's only done it 3 times and you knew he did it, that means clearly you knew what was attached to it was someone kicked the fuck out of it or never covered him with it. What are you doing? What are you doing on the line? Just stirring up shit for no reason?
Stirring up shit. That's
Thanks.
it. That's it. Poison the algorithm.
But TikTok has to go.
What's up?
But TikTok has to go. Not this godforsaken hellscape. Great. Right. Fantastic. Fuck.
So he kind of smiles at the end and basically tells Ospreay to finish him, and Ospreay finished him. Pretty good match to open up the show. But after the match, Ospreay gets on the mic and he was like, "Buddy Murphy," and he literally said, "Buddy Murphy," like, and then he was like, "Oh, my bad, mate, Matthews." He said he admired him for a long time. He said him and Brody King don't need to be following no leader. They can go about things by themselves. You can go for tags or even singles if they choose. And if you ever need someone by his side, Ospreay's his man. They shook hands and Will went to the back. After that, we then got, now this is important to note, we got a video package of AEW wrestlers competing in Japan at Wrestle Dynasty. Everyone that competed in that from AEW was shown doing their moves, showing, the level of that they were competing at. There was a video of Kenny Omega diving over the gate of the dome from the ring that was playing. The Young Bucks were shown, Mercedes Moné, Takeshita, Ospreay, or Ricochet, all that. Everyone was shown. Note this.
Okay, I know where you're going to go with this one. But let's talk about the other problem. You didn't promote this fucking show and your name's on it. Now that has already happened, people that would have ever watched it have to watch it on replay so it's live. Now you want to show the highlights of it? What?
I don't know, man. Is this a WBD thing? Was this actually a New Japan only show?
I don't care what the situation is. If you don't want to promote it, don't put your fucking name on it. You send wrestlers to other places to promote it all the time. Your name's not on it. Their name was on this. Like, am I insane here? Am I wrong here?
I would love.
Is there there must be some part of the math problem I'm missing, but given the history it goes when it comes to sending people to Japan to their partner promotion on the other hemisphere, they just don't do this. It happened the other year with Ospreay and Omega. When I was there in Japan. It's just weird.
Yeah, it's I would love somebody to ask this in one of the press conferences, because it's like, I think you could get an answer.
But if you do that, you won't have time to suck Tony Khan's dick at the press conference. Like, that's the thing. We have media there. They get scared to ask these questions because they're afraid they're going to lose their access.
Yeah, I think
so when you're in front of Triple H or you're in front of Tony Khan, you ask dumbass questions. Move.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because like Will Washington used to show up to these things and he used to ask real questions.
And what happened? What happened with Washington, Rich?
He ended up getting hired.
Thank you.
Man. It's not like he's gonna be like, "Hey man, get that fucker out of here for saying that shit." Like, if I think you asked the question in a way that
maybe the answer is if we hire him, we'll get this fucker out of here and get him away from asking us questions by giving him a job, right? Maybe. But at least we know Will Washington ain't scared. He got a spine. He has some type of credibility to him when he has a job to ask questions. I just whatever. Sorry for derailing your point, Rich.
But I was like, you'd be like, hey, so like going into Wrestle Dynasty, we didn't, see much of it, on AEW TV as far as, promotion. We saw, a video here or there, but as far as substantial promotion, could you like, let us know what's the deal with that? Like essentially, then like,
it would be to a benefit of a lot of people to get an understanding of what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And even asking the question, he'll give you some bullshit answer. At least the question was asked. That's the point of media. You ask someone a question, and then if they either answer it and the public finally know what the fuck's going on, or they give you a bullshit answer, and then eventually, if and when it don't go right or don't match up, we will nail them to the cross like Tizo. Damn it.
So then we got a private party championship celebration. They defended the belts for the first time recently, and they came out, and these guys have not been on Dynamite since they won the belts, I believe. C2 took up a lot of time in December. These guys feel like sitting ducks with these titles.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the
no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not that wasn't wasn't questioning. It was like, oh, they definitely are. Oh yeah.
So I don't know if this is where the duck's gonna be had, but it sure felt like it. So they come out with the girls and go in the section or whatever, pour the champagne. Hurt Syndicate comes out. MVP says they like the party too. They stepped over the velvet rope. He said he was the one to invent this kind of party. He says it's time to raise a toast, private party, and he takes over the mic, starts talking, hands Lashley the mic. Lashley says he's here.
What you hand me that for?
Yeah, he's like, I'm here to cheers of the Hurt Syndicate and taking those tag team titles. And then Lashley and MVP and Benjamin poured their drinks out, and then they went to the ring for the match. And I was like, they big time these boys. Like, I was looking at how they was standing, how they came out there with the suits, and it was just like they had them all in the middle. I was like, man, there's some nastiness going on here, man. Like,
there's also the part where like I said to see you off air, like Quinn looked like Shelton Benjamin's kid, and then Isaiah Cassie looked like Bobby Lashley's biracial kid, light skinned kid. So like, yeah, man, it's just like in age and stature, like all that shit could line up. So yeah, man,
it was not a good night for private party. It looked like
good.
Hey man, you about to hand it over, brother. Like,
look, forget that part. They might not even get like the fought their hearts out and got the win. They might be lambs for the slaughter. They might get some Brock Lesnar, Kofi Kingston treatment. They might just get ass might just get whooped.
Ass might just get whooped. Bobby Lashley and Mark Briscoe then had a match.
I like this match.
Yeah, pretty good match. I saw Mark Briscoe's now losing here, but Lashley did some kind of move during this match. I popped. I was like, oh shit! I think it was like that Dominator. It was that old move that Braun Strowman used to do, like where they put him in a Dominator position, then flip him over.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, man. I was like, bro, like this guy Lashley looks incredible. Like when he's in the ring wrestling and stuff like that, it's just like he's just a big bruiser. I think that
we have literally never seen none that look like that in AEW. This ain't never been a thing before in AEW. Like it's just
that is like, bro. It's almost like I don't care how old he is. Like yo, he's
yeah, right. Like
he's just gonna get over through like sheer force of will. Like
you remember the Bret Hart grading system?
Yes.
Right? Like, he never allowed for, like, there to be pluses that break the scale for 10s or whatever else. Like, Kenny Omega is a 10 physique, right? Bobby Lashley is a 10 plus, right? There ain't been too many 10 pluses in AEW history ever. And if we ever seen them, they ain't never been at 250 plus pounds. This is the first one. So yeah, we ain't never seen nothing like this in AEW. It's a little different. It's a little different. And then he also is, them ain't popcorn muscles. Like, the strength matches the look. So yeah, it's just a different thing. He a whole different type of force.
I thought Mark Briscoe was excellent in this match.
Yes. As usual.
Bro, he's like one of my favorite mid-carders in the world, bro.
Like, you know what my thought was when I was watching this match? I was like, you know, like that role that I used to love for like people like Trent and people like Frank Kazarian.
Bro, he's way overqualified.
That's what Briscoe is, except like he is one of the most charismatic wrestlers ever. So like it's that plus. Like, he's so good at it, and it's like, you know, like obviously he doesn't want to ever be a tag team again, and that stinks. But like, I would love for him to have like AEW go to someone. Like, I really was rooting for like the conglomeration and be a trios thing for real, because like I would like to see him be a trios champion. And see what he does.
I would have rather him be challenging for the world title this cycle than Copeland.
I mean, well, yeah, he has more credibility with the fans that watch, you know, from week to week, especially over the last year. That's true.
I think they could have easily got away with that.
I mean, there's also a part where, like, you know, they kind of did that with Jericho already, right? So Jericho beat Mox to that idea.
Yeah.
Now I don't know when the situation comes or whatever else. Like, is there any chance, like, when in this delay that we're possibly having in the year, that we can you know, like, throw Eddie Kingston in that? Is there a chance he'll be ready for it then? Because that could say Eddie Kingston could save this shit, possibly.
He's not gonna be ready till like May or June.
Well, he ain't gonna have enough time to save it. So there you go. Like, man, let that man come right at the end of like Revolution. Like, you might be able to turn the shit around a little bit. But you know, apparently, it's too far away.
I think he would be the perfect person to fight Moxley after he loses the belt or whatever. Just be like, all right, you done ran around here doing all that bullshit, but you still out here on some fuck shit. What's up? Like,
I think that like you have, you know, you do it again. You think, oh my God, it's going to be Kingston that beats him, and then Moxley beats him, and people are furious, and the very next person beats him, because it'd be like, at that point, anybody is gonna get a, you know, anyone's gonna get like the. You know, the next coming of Messiah, everyone's gonna appear like a 1980s Michael Jackson single, right? Where it's like, oh my God, I can't wait. Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, it don't even matter. Like, hell, well, I was gonna say you can bring Scorpio Sky back out the face map there, but no, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna just start throwing shots at people, even though I just did it anyway. But whatever. I can't believe he's still on the payroll, bro. Like, when I asked that shit, I was serious when I honestly asked the question, bro. Is Scorpio Sky still on payroll?
Bro, I think he is. Like,
I know, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Up next, we had that Casino Gauntlet or whatever, and this one was a bit more slower paced, kind of than the other ones. But it was a good time seeing all the entrances or whatever and the different pair offs. There was a moment where Ricochet used Swerve's music, and I was like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" Like, I was like hot. I was like, "Oh wow."
I didn't know that was what was happening at first. I was like, oh my God, they're really about to like do the Swerve Hangman stuff like in this middle thing. Why are you wasting it? And all of a sudden Ricochet was like, okay, fine, good enough. Bro, that was good enough for me. I was like, okay, good.
You look on Hangman's face. He was like, hold on, bro.
He was, are you fucking serious?
Don't be using my nemesis like, you know, to fuck with me. And then they like, they had Ricochet pairing off with Wheeler Yuta to fight people. Like, Ricochet was getting all the heat in this match or whatever. So, like, this all, you know, breaks down essentially, and Powerhouse Hobbs ends up getting the win. When I saw him coming, I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, and then he won. I was like, oh. Because I was trying to figure, I was like, who is going to be the 1 week challenger? Actually, originally, I said Archer. I was like, he's fucking wrestled a million times.
Yeah.
Of course, we would tap Lance Archer, but then I forgot Lance Archer is actually a heel right now. So, like, I just didn't remember. But then Hobbs came out, and I was like, all right, fuck it. And then, like, he won. Gets the title match next week.
When he won, my first thought was, oh, they're redoing the IWGP rematch that went bad with his knee.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not mad at that because, like, one, like, Hobbs was on a hot streak, a really good matches up until that happened, and, like, that match was a clunker, and then he got hurt, which really sucked. So it's like, I would love to see both of them redeem themselves.
Yeah. Switch the belt. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't.
I mean, if I had to go between having to, after what I've seen this whole fall and winter so far, and having to wait through another 6 months of it, or change title out here and we move on, yeah, I'm with you. Switch title.
Man, Adam Cole came out in this match and
Papa Raiden, mega star.
Yeah. Look, do that Luger, in '97, just
but don't put it back on Hogan though.
Yeah, Tell Hobbs you want to beat me, you got to beat me for real. So he can say that.
The fun part is Moxley put that man in some fucking toe hole he ain't never seen for that jujitsu shit and get it back. nigga, I'm on a nerve you ain't never even knew existed. And he made that nigga Hobbs tap. And now we gotta call Mox. Mox out here put a muscle-bound man facing the sand like he fucking LL Cool J, he bad. No, we can't be doing that.
So, one part of this match, Jeff Jarrett did make his entrance, but then, he got attacked by Wheeler Yuta on the stage and never got to the match. And then after the match, he walks out there. I believe he shakes Hobbs' hand, and then he basically actually Hobbs does an interview first. He said, so let's tell the truth for a second. Let it be told, Moxley was the one that bought Hobbs to AEW, but next week he's going to shock the world and make Moxley his bitch.
And he said that in front of Renee. I was dying.
Yes.
Renee made a face like, come on, man. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to. Why you put me in this position?
Yep. And then, Jarrett shook Hobbs' hand on the way in. They played a video package highlighting the feud between Christian and Hook, and talk about their matches happening next week. And I'm like, I couldn't give a fuck. Then Jarrett comes out here and he questioned whether the last Outlaw has what it takes to become the AEW World Champion. And then the MJF music hits, and I was cracking up laughing because I was like, so. If you remember how they set these things up last week, this did not make sense because MJF was in a video promo saying he wanted to win the championship.
It was free bait for Moxley. Yeah.
And I was like, so why didn't you enter the fucking the match that just happened?
Right.
You could have got a shot by winning that, by beating one single person in the match.
To be fair, in kayfabe, if he shows up in that match, he's getting stomped out by everybody.
That's true. MJF calls Riccoboni a Bible-thumping prick, tells him to leave. He told Jarrett that he's never had the pleasure of meeting him in the ring before he introduced himself. He said he wants the Triple B back, but the world title picture is too crowded right now. He said it's Jarrett's fault that Hobbs won tonight as he got beat up by Wheeler Yuta. And MJF said there's people like Adam Copeland won the AEW title before he put over Jarrett. He ran down his resume. He said he had to look all that shit up because he's not a dinosaur. He said Jarrett's clock is ticking, but he hasn't been telling the truth with everybody. He signed a 1-year deal. MJF said Jarrett didn't want to retire, but it's the contract that pro wrestling thinks that all you have to give. So he essentially told that man, you on a vet minimum right now. This is... like you almost going to Europe with Pat Beverly right now. Oh, he said he's here to help Jarrett prove he still got it. One more year to make it to the top of the mountain. Without MJF's help, you couldn't even win a match at all. MJF just wants one favor. He's first in line for the world title shot. He shakes Jarrett's hand. Jarrett takes the mic. I thought Jarrett was going to come back with a little bit more kind of epicness in the promo, but he didn't. He just kind of addressed him. He put MJF over being the longest running AEW champion. He said, in MJF they call you a one, but he basically said you're a one-hit wonder. This is what we call you. The crowd chanted one-hit wonder at him. Jarrett said he knows the road day's got to go down. He's been at rock bottom before, but it'll allow him to fight his way back to the top of the mountain. Jarrett said MJF had a chance to enter the gauntlet, but he opted to scheme instead. He said he's going to make the rest or the most of 2025. He doesn't need MJF. He's not buying what he's selling, calls him an entitled prick before leaving the ring. MJF and Jeff Jarrett are into a thing, as I kind of pointed out, their segments being played back to back last week. It makes me wonder, like, when all this stuff got divided up, who was left working with who, and then, you know, this man Jarrett has saved one final con for us all. I feel like you know, he's throwing around the retirement stuff like that. Is he about to work himself?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't drop that. Don't drop that. Don't even tease it. Just I wonder if they are they going to be like, you know, are they going to have matches on regular TV, or are they going to, you know, fight at a pay-per-view? Like, what's right? I wonder which way they go with this. Look, admittedly, the dynamic between MJF and Jarrett is funny because it's like, I expected Jeff Jarrett to be like, I've seen a million guys like you before. Like, I am you. Yes. Like, so there's an interesting dynamic here from that standpoint, and I think it should end up in like a Memphis kind of brawl or some shit, or some kind of carny ass match or whatever. But man, this is something that feels like it would be, I think, a lot more well received if the rest of the top of the show wasn't filled with old guys and people of yesteryear, and you know, you throw another retirement thing. It's like, all right, bro, we did Sting, we did, even Danielson got to do a cosplay retirement or whatever. Now, like, Jarrett's throwing like essentially the idea in the air, and it's like, it's just another outpouring. It's like they're reaching for their last trick in the bag, essentially. This company used to do mid-card feuds of the likes of Pac versus Hangman Adam Page. This company used to do mid-card feuds of the likes of Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. This company used to do mid-card feuds of the likes of Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. What is this bullshit? Why is it on my screen? Why should I give a flying fuck? I don't care. Get it off. Go away. No, I don't want to watch this. I don't care. MJF is in the shits. Jeff Jarrett is the high. It might be one of the highest people in the history of my shit list in pro wrestling ever. I hate this. I hate this. How many times you ever heard me say something about AEW? I hate this. Not I dislike it. It fucking sucks. I hate this. I don't. Get it the fuck away from me. Get it the fuck. No, seriously. This is bullshit. I hate this, bro.
Let it out. Let it out. Let him have it.
That's all I got. That's all I got. I don't have an elaborate bunch of jokey jokes with all that other shit. I am genuinely frustrated with this nonsense that is on my screen right now. And then it's going to get worse, potentially. It's going to get worse. It's going to make me even more mad. Oh my fucking God.
If this goes the way I think it's going to go,
it's my fucking God.
We just at the beginning, brother.
Like they just gonna just dedicate themselves to just like bad TV nonsense until the summer. Fuck.
So they then they went from that to showing the Death Riders throwing Darby Allin down a flight of stairs. Excalibur says nobody's heard from Darby Allin since, and he's practically fallen off the map. And then after that, James, it's time for promo time with Big Cope, who cuts a good promo here. But it's Cope at the end of the day. So he said, he's been seeing, he ran through all the carnage that they've been doing since they whooped Danielson and Darby. Said, but their biggest mistake was going after his good friends, FTR. Cope got to defend these two grown-ass men, apparently. Cope said no one fought through what he's fought through just to be standing in the ring, and he's going to die on that hill. And he fired up, and they responded to him well. He said he's a different animal than Moxley has faced before. He said he broke his neck in a match against Eddie Guerrero, but kept going for 20 minutes, and he won the match. He fought Malakai Black in a barbed wire cage, broke his leg, but got up and won the match still. Said he knows Moxley's one of the toughest in the game, but he questioned what is Moxley going to do to him that hasn't been done before. Then John Moxley's music hits, and I've never been more depressed because they add this stinger in the front of this song where it's just cartoonish.
It's the Death Rider stuff, yeah.
I was like, I can't fucking believe this. And like, I groan instantly. They walk out there to silence, and then Castagnoli and Yuta come out with them. FTR attack Castagnoli and Yuta from behind, so everybody's in their positions or whatever. Moxley and Cope were brawling in the ring. Marina came out, slid the briefcase to Moxley. Copeland, grabbed Shafir, and he got distracted long enough.
Can we stop there? Can we stop there? When Copeland grabbed Marina, and Marina was breathing very, very heavily, and the hair was moving out the way from the heavy breaths, and they was locked eyes on each other, and then Edge let go of his hand around the back of her neck. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Edge wasn't up all night on a phone call reassuring that nothing is going on. That chemistry. That's all I'll say. Chemistry.
Hey man.
We've seen some of these people in movies. That ain't that damn in TV shows. That ain't that damn good. And chemistry. Heat. The good heat.
We know the history of Cope.
And that's oh man. I wasn't even
I'm playing. I'm fucking around. I'm making jokes.
I was making jokes on the situation. You want to make jokes on the history.
Hey, man.
The jokes is different levels. I'm making jokes off of the funniness of like, oh my god, and then you want to say, well, that man,
You know nigga can't be trusted, right?
Oh, man, fuck. All right, let's move along before we have people out here thinking we know shit. No. We don't know shit. I'm just out here saying, hey,
I don't know nothing. I'm just a nigga.
I'm just saying that, like, based off of that, like, you might need to bring Big Beth out there for a tag match so you can play chaperone to this nigga. Based off of what. God. That's all I'm saying.
So Pac appeared, attacked him from behind. Moxley put the bulldog choke on Cope, and I was just sliding down my seat even further. And then they handed a bag to Moxley, and then House's music hit, and he slowly came out from the back. He got in there, and the Death Riders ran like hoes.
So I never really thought about this before. You know how fast they would have pulled that shit off air if you had like let's say if you had the Hurt Business. The Hurt Syndicate suffocating people with plastic bags. You know how fast they would have pulled that shit off air? They wouldn't even be able to tease that shit. They'd be like, oh no, we're done. We're never doing that again. You have scared the fan base. You have scared the customers.
Have they ever actually done the plastic bag choke on television, or have they only ever done it on pay-per-view?
I think they did it to somebody once. No, okay, wait. No, it was only on pay-per-view, right? They did it Danielson twice on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's only and it no Darby didn't get it, did he? Garcia didn't get it, did he? So I guess he only teased it.
Only on pay-per-view. Okay.
All right.
So Mariah May's backstage. She talks about the women's casino gauntlet, tells the women to compete and to dance like marionettes they are, for she cuts their strings and burns them alive. Then Harley Cameron and all of the charisma in the world leap on screen with her. She says
we're not making the euphemism about live show charisma.
No,
this woman is fucking charismatic as hell.
It's like her, and then the charisma, she brought it with her. Like, she says she's not getting the title shot, but it's fine. Basically, have an advertising match on Collision. It said it's hot girl graps. Mariah says she's going to rip Harley Cameron's head off.
Did she mention something? Did she do her line about filling the raft? Did she do that too?
Yes, she was like, "Gonna feel around," but like she kind of acted like she didn't want to say it essentially, but it was fighting its way to get out.
I'm gonna tell you this right now: if Harley Cameron was doing this in Japanese over in Japan, people would love this shit to death. I'm telling you, and
she's awesome.
But you know, we like it too, or whatever else. We enjoy this shit too, or whatever else. But like, I think we're in the minority on this. I don't think people love her. I don't think people love her the way we do, where we like, she got something. She clearly has something. She has a dot on her forehead.
You should type her name in on Twitter. I think it's growing. So, but you know,
she should be in the long term plans where it's like, hey man, if you can, they should try to track her towards, you know, some level of success, like in the next year or so. Like obviously, if she has to get better in the ring, but you know, point like, given where she is in her career, like she's ahead of the game as far as like she's a character, she's a personality, man, like she got some. They just, you know, it was bearing the quality of television, but you know, now that that's gone, we might be able to do something.
Yeah, that guy. So Chris Statlander then wrestled Tony Storm and Willow Nightingale. They just decided to drop just a loaded match out of nowhere. Didn't get the response that I thought it would get or anything.
Yeah.
Partially because Tony's kind of, I think she's, you know, some of this stuff is kind of weird with the memory loss thing, because it's not like you're engaging with the real Tony Storm, so it doesn't seem like she's in there with Willow and Chris and like who have been like these are almost two different universes colliding together.
Tony has so much more going for her than those two right now, and then you're still stuck with the awkwardness of like, so are these two, after having like, you know, this heated thing last year, betrayal, like are they going to piece it up? Because it looks like Statlander wants to piece it up, and Willow, we don't know how Willow feels about it at all still. And like, so it's kind of like they're in a weird place right now. People are still just like, they're just around like raw emotion and uncertainty. And Tony Storm is like, we know what this is. So I think that's why she grabbed most of the reaction. And then like, they start. Do you see the shit during the commercial break? All the snapmares.
Mm-mm.
During commercial break, Tony Storm took turns snapmaring Chris and Willow over and over and over and over in the whole entire commercial break until they both end up on the floor. And then she ended it by like after like the 17th one going between them, doing a double one to them on the floor.
I must have missed it.
It was in picture in picture. I was just looking. I was like, "What are they? They're just fucking snapmares." I was like, "This is ridiculous." I shit you not. It was over a dozen of them between the both of them in a row, uncontested. Pure fuck off mode during commercial break.
Yeah. So Statlander wins it. She beats Storm clean. Kind of a shocking win, but it's clearly a setup, it seems like, for...
she's rookie, you know. For these Olympic matches.
So she gets interviewed after. Basically, she says she gave it her best. She's not ready yet. It's an honor to be in there with Statlander and Nightingale. She's going to keep working hard, as it's not Tony time all the time.
And then I don't remember if you remember this, but like Collision, she had a match with Deanna, right? And then she beat her with a young girl roll up. Bro, I love this shit so much. It's so dumb, but it's like at least someone has a direction. Like I feel what's happening is like she is gonna sucker Mariah into getting this match, and she gonna think like it's real amnesia and ensure like soap opera form. Either A, she don't realize that she's had a psychotic snap and that Mariah's betrayed her. She's blocked this all out, and it's gonna unleash, and she's gonna unleash the gates of hell upon her when she gets the match. Or it's been a ruse all along, and I think it's been a ruse all along. And like this, in like Mariah, because you know, in my you know, me talking about like I want more dumb heels in wrestling. When she falls for this, I'm gonna fucking love it. He's like, you dummy, even if you thought she forgot. You thought she forgot when you blushed her with a spike of a high heel shoe last summer? Okay, sure, all right. Oh man, I can't wait for this fucking rematch, because regardless, either option is gonna be great for me. Either one, either the soap opera of her memory has been brought back. She lost her amnesia, or I've been playing this all along, and you fell for my trick the same way you tricked me, make me think that I loved you last summer. Yeah.
Man.
I love it. I really do. It's one of the few strong things they have going on in AEW, character-wise, with motivations, all that, in history.
So up next, we got the long-awaited return to Dynamite of Kenny Omega. They played his new entrance video and his music. They tried to set the atmosphere. Kenny came out. I noticed right away with the outfit. I was like, he has like, it looked like he has like khaki kind of pants and like a dress shirt. I was like, he's about to bump. Like, that's why I immediately said, I was like, he's about to bump tonight. And then he was making his way out, high-fiving the fans, smile on his face. Excalibur's going crazy. Big welcome back chants. He's, walking out with a fucking patch on his head.
Was that the hottest thing on the show?
What's up?
Was that the hottest reaction of the night?
Possibly.
I think it was. I just point out, like, it was a dead crowd.
They don't mention his match at Wrestle Kingdom, even though they played the video.
Do you think they only played that video because they're like, how else are we gonna explain why this man is out here looking like Hogan the night of WrestleMania 9 with a black eye? Like, he has a gash above his forehead. We have to be able to explain this.
It's crazy.
But you can't miss. You have to hint it that you tested. That you tested the theory.
He was dressed like a substitute teacher. Yes.
Wow.
So like, I could immediately just see the look in his eye. It was like, the eyes never lie. I was like, this is not the Kenny Omega that walked into the Tokyo Dome like a week ago. Or
what town were they in?
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Well, okay. I was in the Tokyo Dome, and now I'm in Clarksville, Tennessee. I think the adrenaline is down. I don't think I have the same,
Yeah. So he said it was a little over a year ago that he found out he had diverticulitis, and he had to have 2 feet of his intestines removed. Doctor said he would have been dead if he delayed any longer, checking himself into the hospital. He asked the doctor how long the recovery is, but was told he'd be lucky to make his return to a normal way of life, let alone the ring. He said he pushed things too hard, and he found himself in the hospital 4 more times for 4 more weeks, and he questioned if he could still even do this. He said there was a time that he thought about giving up, and that was the safest option, but once he considered what the purpose was, what purpose would he have on the planet without the fans with him? He said a few days ago he tested this theory in Tokyo, Japan, tiptoeing and hinting that, of activity, as he has the match of the year right now. Yep. Just like he found his purpose tonight. He said if he isn't in the ring giving the fans everything he has every single week, then he's not living, even though he's not the same guy. The new version, the one that's not worried about money, power, revenge, he can still prove he has what it takes. I was like, I thought there was weird energy behind this promo because I was like, I want him to just like be full of fire and say he's ready to like kick ass and stop the doubtful shit. It was like, we just saw you playing a video earlier of you jumping 10 feet past the gate at the Tokyo Dome. You have a fucking gash on your head, and it's like they can't admit what he was actually doing, so it all feels fucking weird to me. So like I didn't love it. I thought this was kind of weak. Or I'll keep going through because that will exasperate my point of why I wasn't really feeling this segment.
Maybe he's saving it because he knew he had to sell a beatdown. Maybe no. Maybe like the real super inspiring fire up promo is like around the corner. Is not like it wasn't meant to be right now. Is what I'm getting at. You think that's a possibility or no?
I mean, what better time to do it for than
I know.
I keep coming back to the point where it's like,
and also Kenny Omega's best promos in his company have historically all been heel promos. I would like to see one of his best promos be a babyface promo for once. I would like one of those. So kind of hope in this era.
So like when I'm seeing this, like I'm reminded of fans wanting to see how they position him, how they, if you want this guy pushed as the fucking ace. So I'm gonna nitpick this shit pretty much to death at this point, going forward. And like, I'm gonna read what happens next. So like after that, in the middle of that, Don Callis' music hits, and Kenny gives a look on his face like, I am so fucking tired of this nigga. And then like,
He also in the middle of the promo said he's done with vengeance and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden he heard that fucking noise. That man said, fuck what I just said. Look, listen, do as I say, not as I do. He went out there and put hands on Callis. I was like, look, when he started running down there, I was like, please be the V-trigger. I've been waiting for that V-trigger to Callis for years now at this point. When he hits that long V-trigger down Callis, it will be maybe one of my top 5 moments in AEW history. He's saving it. It's gonna happen one of these days. He's gonna hit that nigga with that knee and I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, bro. I saw the Callis shit and I was like, oh god. Like I was like, yo, this is like
beat down was on the way, right?
I was like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. And then like he actually gets to Don, as James was mentioning. I was shocked because
not the way I wanted though.
Yeah.
He only got his hands around his neck though. I wanted the full bow. Just blast that nigga head off his shoulders.
So Brian Cage and Lance Archer then run out and attack him, and I'm like, oh, fucking great. And then Kyle Fletcher hits the ring. Now it's 3-on-1. They're doing a 3-on-1 beatdown. And I'm like, all right, get up, whoop their ass, do something.
Was you expecting like the Young Bucks to save him, or you thought he was going to save or break or clear him out by himself?
I thought he was going to save himself, like most of the top baby faces in the history of wrestling.
He ain't Steve Austin.
Would be, Steve Austin. Would they have done Roman Reigns like this? Would they have done Dog like this? And then I was like, great.
Hey, hold on. But when we talk about pro wrestling or whatever else, say AEW ain't real. What's more realistic than you getting your ass kicked 3-on-1? Because on a fair one, you out here beating people 1v3. That ain't realistic. That is not realistic. That is the fake shit. That is actually the fake shit.
Like, I was like, all these other aces would have been able to, hold all these niggas off. But like, they give him the right hand punch to the lower body or whatever. He's selling.
Didn't die.
What's up?
He didn't die.
He did not die.
Yeah.
Then Will Ospreay.
I just wanted to point that out because Gabe Kidd said the body punch is gonna kill him. He's gonna kill him with one body punch.
I mean, maybe Gabe was working on that 1-inch punch. Maybe he didn't get the chance. So Ospreay runs out and saves him with a chair, takes out Archer on the ramp, chases off Fletcher and Cage, and they retreat. Ospreay throws the chair aside. Him and Omega have a stare down.
He did look like he was going to swing it on him until he turned around. It was very much like the tease of the lariat, the buckshot lariat from Hangman and Page at the end of the the tag match between Hangman and Omega versus the Young Bucks back in the day.
So they're doing that, and then it's basically like a stare down, holy shit chance, and they start quickly trying to say, oh, these guys have tons of history together. But then they're like, oh, next week, Kenny Omega will face Brian Cage in his first match back in AEW over a year. Ospreay made his way to the back. Omega was in the ring with a mic in hand. He looked like he was going to talk, but then the show ended, and then he cut like a post-show promo that blew the one he did on television away. Like, I was like, all right. So, like, obviously, I didn't like the fact it was like he had to get saved by somebody, but they're clearly setting something up here. I just didn't love it. I thought it was weak, and I was like, I think Kane need to fire up himself and make his own comeback, but I guess they got different ideas.
It served a purpose, right? It's to like sink you in the direction of like, all right, well, it seems like they're headed towards Ospreay and Omega and them combining forces to fight the evil that is the Don Callis family. And, with Takeshita there, I can see that. Makes sense. Whatever.
They're also in their own universe. They're far away from the championships.
Yeah.
He did not address Okada at all in this promo.
But he can't address Okada because that's supposed to be in fucking July.
It makes it weirder of why that segment happened at World's End just to come back out here now.
You know what it was. The first time he comes back, it has to be on AEW television. Remember like that shit happened with Moxley with a couple years ago with New Japan, or was it New Japan or was it GCW? GCW, right?
GCW, I think.
Right. It was like his first time being back for so long, like his first appearance needs to be on AEW, and then he can go do whatever. That's what that was. That's all that was.
So, like, there's just all these things that are just conflicting for me, and it's like, it's not adding up. Essentially, I like. What do you think of the new song?
My favorite Kenny Omega theme is his AEW theme, his first one. So it's fine, whatever. I
think he should go to big match music, like the Mayu Watani, like the champion music. Like if he used this song, like it was dope at the Dome or whatever. But like, I don't know how people are going to like feel it because there's not those drums in it.
It's not energetic, and it's the same thing I had with like his Terminator stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where it's like, okay, it's fine. But I don't love it. And then I heard AEW, and I was like, yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's. I don't know what his DDT music was, so I can't even help you on that one. But yeah, I don't
know the DDT music. I like the New Japan one. I like Battle Cry. I like this one too. I listen to it, but I feel like
Battle Cry is my favorite Kenny Omega theme.
What's up?
Battle Cry is my favorite Kenny Omega theme.
Yeah,
easily. Like it's not even a question. I think that's by far and away the best one that I've heard him ever come out to.
So.
And then after that second, I had to put like the Elite one to Kansas. After that.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's wrestling Cage next week, so I would have thought they would have had a better match waiting for him. I like Brian Cage. I've always wanted to see these guys have a match together.
A better match or a match that's hotter?
Or a bigger match waiting for him.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Have we talked to Chad about this? This is a match that Chad has wanted to see for a while.
I should send him a message. Say, hey man, are you tuning in? Like, what was the word? Yeah, like these Brian Cage wanted to have this match for a long time. I heard he brings it up all the time. Obviously, he's tweeted about it years and years ago. So it's gonna be some moves, baby, in this one. So they're gonna open the show. They're getting basically limited commercial breaks during this. They already said it. So can't wait to see it, and hopefully it feels, like the feeling that we're looking for, essentially, for Kenny Omega. Is Kenny Omega up to it? Like, I'm going to challenge him, like, on this. Like, if you've been quoted, you want this Roman Reigns presentation, and do you want to be somebody?
He said that for real?
He said it on streams and stuff, and talking about how he loves the presentation, and, he wants to be pushed as a top guy. So it's like, all right, like, let me see it. Like, do you want to do American TV in a way where it's like you're still doing you? And I don't know. I think he's going to need to step up.
Here's
like
my question.
He can't do these promos like with this low energy kind of stuff. Like, I think that's got to go. Like, he's got to unveil like a new wrinkle.
But do you okay? Yeah, I get you saying, but like, I don't think that's him being the rah-rah guy. That's never been really him, though. He's an introspective, thoughtful guy, and that doesn't mean necessarily that you can't fire up, but we've never seen him do that as a babyface. Are you saying, like, you want to see him finally do that? Because, I mean, I'm with you. I've wanted to see him do that since he first showed up at AEW, and then he decided to start doing the Nakazawa nonsense. But he had the matches, so it didn't really matter. Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, I would love for him to do it, but I'm not really waiting for him to do that anymore. I'm kind of been like, well, if he would have done it, he would have done it by now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm not holding against it because he's still one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and still, even when he was doing the nonsense, or whatever else, he's still having great matches, still having, the shit with Pac, so that's nothing that I need, but like, I can see someone being like, yeah, I'd like to see that if he was saying he wants to be the president like Roman Reigns, whatever else. I can see that. For me, I don't necessarily need it because it's like, proof's in the pudding. I saw it on January 5th. It was fucking awesome. Well, I didn't see it on January 5th, but it happened on January 5th. I watched it. It was fucking awesome. So,
it's like, I think there are aspects of like the stuff that he puts into his character and his promos, like when he's somewhere like New Japan, that just shines through like almost without trying. In AEW, he has had trouble doing that. So like, I don't know if it's the way he's being produced or if it's, his ideas himself or whatever.
Do you think also that like based off the audiences, they require different things, and I think he connects better to the Japanese fan base than he does the American fan base?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think it is too. I don't think he actually knows exactly how to present himself as not necessarily a white babyface, but like a top babyface that is pure and is like a master of ceremonies. I don't think he's ever really been that. I don't know if that's in his tool bag. I mean, and obviously, you know, you can learn how to do things, but like, I mean, like, for example, right? What you're asking him to do is like, kind of like what Ospreay did when he hit the ground running, showing up in AEW. Show up, had the big matches, big presentation, people go crazy to his music, because he's big fiery promos, every single week that were not setting the world on fire. I've never seen Kenny Omega do that. And I didn't know Will Ospreay can necessarily do that outside of like, you know, those G1 promos, or whatever else. But he did it. And it was like, damn, like, that's when people were talking about, like, should they just do it now with him?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we're now in, you know, year 6 of this company with Kenny Omega. And, like, if he does that, great. But he never had to do that before, and he was still the god of pro wrestling, as Callis would call him. So, you know, for me, it's kind of like, if he does that, that's just another thing to add to the list of tools, another list of concepts. Like, yeah, he's done. Everyone wants to doubt him, and he's done every fucking thing there is to do in pro wrestling, except for be this, and then he does do it. It's like another thing for you to say, shut the fuck up. But I don't. To me, it's like I don't need him to prove that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be cool if he did it. It would be cool if he did it. I
just do not want this company to fuck this up. It's got like the proof's in the pudding.
And also, I'm at a point now with like the way it's going right now, where it was like, look, Kenny Omega come back and have a match with Brian Cage, whatever else, and this happened. This is the least of my worries compared to what's going on that I don't like in this company. He's gonna come back and team with Ospreay, and they're gonna wrestle Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Oh my! Look, thank you. Something I can look forward to on pay-per-view. This other shit, I don't know, bro. I ain't really loving it.
It feels like there's going to be.
I know I'll enjoy.
I hope what I hope doesn't happen is that it's like this hard ripple in the company where it's like I feel like they're doing bullshit in this corner, and then like all the fire shit is happening like over here,
Swerve and
Ricochet. It feels like we're gonna be headed.
Swerve and Ricochet also is like
Swerve and Ricochet on that side, yeah,
off to the side, yeah. Like the top wrestlers are really good at doing some real like cross, what do you call it, side quest stuff right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, that is what I got there. I have nothing on. There was a Dax Harwood versus Chris Jericho clip that went viral.
That looked
awful.
Hey man, when I said to you, I was like, are one or both of them drunk? That's how bad it was.
Like,
I'm not talking about no speculation. I'm not talking about no context of the DUI thing with Jericho in the past. I mean, like, these are two guys that are good ass wrestlers at the worst. And given how they wrestle today or these days, they're very compatible with the big chops and going from there. And that ending looked abysmal. It looked like wrestle crap.
Like they made themselves look bad. They made the ref look bad. Like they made
sad. It looked sad.
It did. It looked like it was like, all right, man, is this a conditioning issue? Is this just a timing thing? Is this just like you laid it down in the match or whatever? Was I don't know. Like,
bro, that swing with the belt was sad.
It was bad, bro. Like it was bad. I was like Jericho, what's up, man? Like
Jericho was the worst of it, but Dax was bad too.
Dax didn't. I'm about to say Dax like 15 years younger than him and did not look great right there.
Right, like they both looked bad. Jericho just looked worse.
Yeah, Jericho signed a 3-year extension.
When?
September 2022. So quietly, that could be coming up this year. I think conversations might need to be had. Just saying.
Wow.
And
the guy that is going semi-viral saying never count out Chris Jericho is circling the corner around. Maybe it's time to count this bitch out. I didn't say
that.
You're dancing around the subject. You're not saying it. I'm saying it for you. Is that fair? Is that unfair? He pivoted. He don't want to say
you're
he pivoted. Okay,
but,
fair enough.
But what I think like should be like, if I was Chris Jericho, I would be thinking of a fire exit from like to wrap my career up at this point.
Well, the fire exit would have been, you know, all in Texas, but
I don't know if
you gonna send off two motherfuckers.
I don't know if if he's gonna, you know.
Damn it!
Is somebody gonna beat him to the punch there? I don't, you know.
Damn it!
But
I've been outmaneuvered. Damn it,
man. Yeah. If I was Chris Jericho, I would be thinking about a proper way to pay respect to yourself from here on out. You know, because this is really like difficult. Because like he can still get over as a character. Every once in a while, he'll reach back with something, but man, like when you have this stuff going out, it's hard. It's hard to stand up proudly with the Chris Jericho flag. It's real hard. Look, and I'm riding with him till the wheels fall off. Like this is my Keiji Muto. Like I'll watch him. I don't care how long it is. But I think he should start thinking of whatever's going to wrap it all up to make everybody remember how great he was, rather than like be resentful every time they have to still see him. If that makes any sense.
You know what you described to me?
What?
It sounds like you want to say like Jericho, like if you should fail, if you succeed, at least you'll have your dignity. Because he's trying to tell this man. You need to watch your, like, so in CrossFit, one thing they'll have people do, like for lifting weights, is they'll have them like record what they're doing, like their weight list, the maneuvers, or whatever else, so they can see like what they're doing. So they like, hey man, if it might feel good to you, but you look crazy. He looking crazy in that video. He's like, hey bro, I want you to watch this. You thought that felt good in the ring? Watch it. This look good in the ring to you?
Right.
Like, hey man, like, the self-awareness, you need to have some dignity about yourself. You don't want to end up like Undertaker. You don't.
Yeah. And he's walking that line.
That was the end of the long end for Undertaker. That's what some of that shit looked like. That was bad. Obviously it's a clip, but that clip, based off that clip, there's no way the rest of that match was A+. Ain't no way.
Yeah. Yeah, and
unless the Monster should have been took their wrath powers and we didn't see it. And for the last 35 seconds of that match, ain't no way.
You know what? Fuck it. I blame Dax. Fuck it. Sorry, Floyd.
That's terrible, man. The one nigga on the bus that was the least bad person in it. It's terrible. You ain't shit.
You know, should have inspired Chris Jericho to be better, you know?
Oh my God. Boy.
Take care of the veteran.
Take care of the veteran. He said, I tried to. This motherfucker swung the belt like he swung the belt like it was a fucking pillow.
Holy shit.
He swung the belt like he was a pillow. He was trying to swing at a baby. Like, playing pillow fight with a toddler. Ha ha ha. His little love tap. Terrible, bro. Terrible.
So,
and then the ref bump was awful too. Ooh.
The ref bump had Bryce looking crazy.
God. Oh my God! Like, look, that ain't the ref bump he took in Japan. That meant, look, that was not the same thing as trying to catch that floor dive from Kenny Omega. Not at all.
Yeah, like we should have called Bryce Remsburg out there to ask, hey, did he look like Kenny Omega in the Tokyo Dome? Like we could have got a testimonial from the referee right there. Yes, he did. Stop lying to these people, Kenny. But I'll open it up to the chat if y'all want to ask like one or two questions, good ones. I'll humor you for a little bit at the end of this show here. While you guys get those questions in there, make sure you visit the Chop Tees, chop-tees.com. Get your Social Suplex merch. All that stuff really helps out the show. You want to donate to the show, there's a red circle link for the One Nation Radio feed, please do so. If you want to bless the network as a whole, that is available as well. As I shamelessly shill as I wait for these questions. What else is going on next week on the show? Like I said, Kenny Omega and Brian Cage, Hobbs and Moxley. My man Black Sabre Jr. came ready. Oh my God. He says, all right, let's go to some of these questions from Black Sabre Jr. This is the Black Sabre Jr. hour right here. So, he said, going to send in these questions before I head to sleep. Appreciate the stream as always. Which Jackson song do you prefer? Blame It on the Boogie or Shake Your Body to the Ground?
Blame It on the Boogie. I've seen so many people. I don't even know if it's actually because of the actual song, but like I've heard so many people cover that, and the covers are always good. It's just a nostalgic feeling for me.
I think I like Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. Just a bit more bombastic for me. Number 2, if there was one basketball player you can compare Will Ospreay's output of matches from 2022 to 2024, which player would he be?
Ooh, that's tough.
Michael Jordan, 1987, 88, and 89.
I would say like Jordan from like 88 through like 90. Cause it's like, he's not anyone's ace, but it's like, this is clearly the best fucking guy. And he's doing things athletically that we've never seen anyone else do.
Is Jimmy Butler the third best Miami Heat player in their franchise history? Thoughts on the Jimmy and Pat Riley conundrum? Yes, he is the third.
He probably is. He took them to 2 finals, and like he's had some of the best like non-LeBron playoff. He's had like
even some of
including those. But I'm saying like he's had some of the all-time great playoff runs, and they've gone underappreciated because his teams got beaten 5 in the finals. Like that game he won against the Lakers, that game 4, like that is one of the best final games ever. If you just want to see like 2 guys playing at all-time levels, go watch that last, was it 6 minutes? Him and LeBron going back and forth. He's going total LeBron, and he ended up coming out unscathed. He ended up coming out with a winner on that one. Now, granted, he had nothing left for game 5 because he ran the tank, but like, you know, and you can also say like, yeah, Danny Green makes a wide open 3-pointer or whatever else, but like that was fucking impressive. And like that finals made me think of Jimmy Butler in a way I had never had before. Like when I used to think of him, I always thought of him using that category where it was like, all right, him and Jimmy Butler and Paul George are different players, but like they're the same tier of like fringe top 10 guys in the league in their primes, whatever else. And then like those 2 finals runs, or that first run with Butler was like, nah, man, there's something to Jimmy Butler that Paul George ain't never had. And we got to put him in the next tier. Or at least put him to a tier by himself, but then separate him from Paul George. Because Paul George ain't never done that.
Yeah, like beyond Alonzo Mourning, like I think
remember when Alonzo Mourning finished like second in MVP voting?
Yeah.
In front of Shaq, when Shaq like beat him in every single category because we were mad at Shaq because Shaq hadn't won yet. I think it was 99.
99.
Yeah. Like Shaq is like number 1 in every advanced metric. Like kicking everybody's ass like the same way that like Jokic does. But back then we didn't care about that kind of stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. And is, you know, I think he's been a guy, he's kind of coasted in the regular season, but he's just been some guy you just didn't want to see. He just made us something different, like at least in the playoffs.
And another part about it is like we don't think about it this way because like he's not as old as necessarily Steph or Curry or Steph or Durant or LeBron, but like he's old. He was in what, the 2013 draft?
No, 2011 draft.
I'm sorry, because Giannis in the 13 draft. Sorry. Yeah, he's old. He's old.
Yeah. I think that's a great segue to the second part of the question. Thoughts on the Jimmy and Pat Riley conundrum? Pat Riley has done this to
a lot of people.
Like, this isn't any kind of new thing. Like, whatever, like, stars that have been, like, you know, it's been time to get off people and get rid of them. And, you know, when they reach a certain age, they have so much of Riley shit. And, you know, Pat Riley is grating. You can look no further than how it blew up for him on the Lakers. Like, when he just practiced them and ran them to death. And then one day, like, your players are, like, older and they're just like, they don't respond to that shit anymore.
The 2-hour practices are, it was wearing back in the 80s. It was less wearing for the Knicks because, like, they had never had that kind of success in that era, so they were fine with it and they ran with it. But then he quickly moved to Miami, and then it was like, well, it's Miami. He has the rings.
King.
Like, he's a king. They made him king there, so he's like, it's his organization, it's his weird highway. And then it's like, all right, well, you know, they lucked into Dwayne Wade becoming the player he was, right? Like, there were some hints he was going to be that kind of player, but no one thought he was going to be the same best player of that draft. No one did. And then he was. Then you get Shaq, because obviously, like, Kobe and Shaq are on the outs. You make this happen. You create a championship window. They got through the window with a championship. Then they chug along, and then they, you know, fucking Dwayne Wade saved him again. Got him LeBron James and Chris Bosh. But the deterioration, like, the way that was ending, where he couldn't read the cards on the table, that, like, LeBron, unless you do something, is out of here. I was just, he didn't see the writing on the wall, and that bit him on the ass. And then, you know, Wade leaves because he didn't get the make back money he should have got, whatever else. That sucks. You know, and then the thing I'll give him is, like, he never tanks, and that team's always gonna play hard. I remember, I think when Chad was talking about, asked, like, which team should I pick as far as, like, starting to watch a team or follow a team or whatever else. I'm looking for a new team because I think he was just disenchanted with whoever he was fans of at the time. I was like, the Heat, they never tank. They're always gonna play hard. You ain't got to worry about that kind of stuff. And then they got themselves a situation where they end up getting, you know, Jimmy Butler. But the thing is, like, with Jimmy,
he burns it down. He burns
it down on his end too. So now we're at the part where, like, we knew this was not going to end happily, and it, you know, two finals run with two teams that had no business being in the finals. This is success. Is it going to be hurt feelings because, like, you know, the Heat fans or whatever else, like, I think they're underrated, or they get a bad rap as being fans because of the LeBron era? Sure. They really care about that dude, and they're really having them runs or whatever else, and, like, you know, somewhere down the line, they'll come back around, and Jimmy Butler will get that number retired there.
Shit sucks. There's a lot of there's a lot of echoes of what happened with Klay Thompson in Golden State too. You know.
Well, yeah, I want money.
Yeah, I want, at the end of the day, I want money. There was no big injury with Jimmy. There's just, like, you know, knick-knack injuries and stuff like that.
Age.
And if you know anything about Pat Riley, he's like, if you worked harder, you wouldn't get hurt. Like, that's how nonsense. He looks at it.
And that's nonsense.
And it's like, I just think, you know, some things, you know, they come to an end. I think they should find, like, unfortunately, like, the league is the way the league rules are, it's so difficult to make trades, and then you're basically trying to like agree with your players where they can be traded under these very strict rules that have to be met by certain teams. So, like, it's almost like there should be a Brad Beal for Jimmy Butler trade.
But no one wants Brad Beal.
But neither franchise would benefit from that, I don't think.
Nobody wants Brad Beal. It's one of the worst contracts in the league.
Right.
Or it might be the worst contract in the league. You know how much money's left on that deal?
I know he's making like $50 million for like 3 more years or some shit.
Exactly. He's not he will never make another All-Star team. He'll never sniff one. Like, bro,
that's crazy.
The Suns' numbers are all bad when he's on the floor.
Yes. Very bad. Like, so Beast Mode said, who are the next 5 breakout stars from AEW? That's funny because if you were on the stream at any time earlier, like, it seemed like the old guy's going to be holding it down for a while. So I don't know. There's going to be too much breaking out going on.
Copeland. Christian Cage.
Here for the young guys. Copeland.
Yeah.
Where the hell is Samoa Joe? I think he's filming TV or something.
He's doing that Twisted Metal show that he did a while back. So yeah, I think that's where he is.
Dr. Larry, will Omega do more work in New Japan than AEW? See, you trying to get us to talk about stuff that's like.
Now, I don't know about that, but what I will say is, if you want to, I will say this. Do I want to see him do Dominion? Yeah.
Absolutely. I have a feeling we will be seeing more of Kenny Omega in New Japan this year.
This is a thing I've always said to Rich, and this is including the conversation we had earlier about like the presentation of him and everything. It is Kenny Omega with New Japan camera direction and New Japan fans and a New Japan ring is totally different than even as great as Kenny Omega has been in AEW. It's just different. And, like, he actually is, like, you know, like, he's Clark Kent in AEW. He's Superman in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's
crazy.
It's just the whole thing. Like, bro, look, I have still, not to this day, I still have not watched the TV copy of Wrestle Kingdom 17 between him and Ospreay. Still haven't seen it. I was there in the building. I don't need the camera. I was there. That shit was still the best match of the decade, right? That shit was unbelievable. And I was like, after not seeing it for like 4 years or whatever it was, in him in New Japan, I was like, this is what me and Richard we had back and forth about it. It was like, it's the same thing as the camera. I was like, nah, Rich, it's just different. And I think after that match, it was like, Rich finally got what I was saying. Like, nah, bro, it's just different. When that nigga looked over his shoulder and looked at the camera like he's out of his mind, his eyes but on his face said, I'm back. It's just different.
You know what it kind of feels like?
Over there in Shinny Home. It's totally different.
You know what it feels like? It's like Kenny Omega uses New Japan as like his mixtapes where he could just bar up and just do whatever the fuck. Then he got to make an album in AEW.
So he's Lil Wayne? Like, in AEW, you get the albums. In New Japan, you get the mixtapes. And it's out of this world when it's the mixtapes.
Yeah.
Like, you out here getting no ceilings and dedications and, okay, it's suffixes. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. It's like you like the albums, you love the albums, even like, but it's like there's
not
something.
The same thing.
It's just something. It's
just somewhere Kenny Omega rap on other niggas' beats and just take them to a whole nother level.
It's crazy. And what does it come down to? Production? Like, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is it how he's being like
it's
directed? Is it the storyline? Is it the wrestlers he's working with? Like, is it unfamiliar? Did he not want to go that hard with people to where he don't think they can keep up? Like, what's the? I don't know, man.
I can't call it either, but it's just a difference. You just watch, like, it's just a difference. And I say this when we talk about the production stuff, right? I like his AEW music more. It don't matter. When he come out in AEW, in New Japan, it's just different, bro. That dome, that crowd, man.
Bro, that shit was sensational a couple weeks ago, man. Like, it was like, let's see. Jimmy Butler is a melanated and vaccinated Aaron Rodgers.
I won't go that far.
Yeah, because like nobody thinks Jimmy Butler is an asshole. Like everybody thinks.
Well, they think he's an asshole for a reason, as opposed to just being like. Okay, so the I don't really want to get into the humanization of Aaron Rodgers, because like he came from a religious house, from a religious family, and then like he ended up going to Cal, and that opened up his mind to other stuff. So now he questions everything. That's basically that's the gist of what I've heard about with him. So now he thinks because he's tapped in and he's tapped into certain things or whatever else, he now thinks he's smarter than everybody. That's his problem. And he is actually smart or whatever else, and that makes it even worse. Like when you're smart and then you think you're smarter than everybody, that makes it even worse. Because you think you actually are. So that's how you end up where he's gotten himself for the last 5 years or so.
So he is I don't know. I disagree. Like I think, people get real sensitive about athletes not wanting to play for teams anymore. And I think that, he doesn't want to be there. They don't want to pay him. So they should, look, you want to say someone's an asshole and kills, and burns situations down on the way out. Like, I think I would much rather take the Jimmy Butler approach than the James Harden approach. So
Right. Like the James Harden part, like, because the Jimmy Butler thing is like, the word is like trade. He's not even saying trade me to where I want to go. He's saying trade me anywhere. I just want to go get paid at this point. I just want another contract. I respect that more than what James Harden was like. I was told all these promises that no one can substantiate one way or the other. I believe him, but it doesn't matter. I've seen you quit on a bunch of teams. And, you know, I've been a big James Harden supporter. I can't fly. The shit he does with people is like, nah, man, you can't just quit everywhere you go because you don't get your way. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, once time changes all that kind of stuff, what people are going to remember is you quit on teams. Not that you weren't, not that you was right this one time, you was wrong the other two times. People just going to remember that you quit. And that's what you got. Like, regardless of him being the most prolific guard of the last, or post Kobe, most durable and prolific guard post Kobe. What you got? Got worse as playoff series went on repeatedly, and quit
traded a bunch of times,
and then quit everywhere he went. That's not. No one aside from maybe Houston is gonna go up for him. All the places he's ever been. Maybe even OKC because of like the young Thunder thing.
Yeah.
But even then it's gonna be like, oh, those are fond memories, but they ain't gonna.
It was only 3 years. That's what they was.
Right. They gonna be like, that was fun. They're not gonna be like, oh, that was my guy. I followed him everywhere he went after they traded him unjustly. Not gonna. No.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Yeah, man. I think that's a good place to wrap him up. I'll answer one more from Doc Larry. Why does AEW not let their foreign talent cut more sub pre-tapes? It seems so weird how none of their ESL talents are given opportunities. I would say that comes down to the production people. That probably don't think it's a good idea for whatever reason.
Is that plus it's this promotion historically does not give much time to people for promos. They're more in, that was their identity for the longest. And then MJF became champion and then it went out the window. And they've been yo-yoing back and forth and playing this identity crisis thing from week to week or whatever else. Remember, after Revolution 2024, when Sting retired, they changed their format up to going basically like the 4 matches in the 2-hour shows and do more promo time. And I said to Rich, they think that this is going to change things, get their ratings back because they're telling more stories. They're catering to people that in bad faith have tricked them into thinking this is the way to go. Get their characters or their stories or blah, 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 blah. We'll see over time, over the course of time, if it made a difference. Rich, did anything change?
No.
Okay, thank you. I think we've checked in on that like twice since that happened. My whole point was, no, you're not getting anybody doing this. Go be yourself. Be the fuck you. And now we're in a situation now like they have less idea who they are than they've ever been.
Yep. And man, I think there's moving pieces. That's gonna keep moving. So I don't know, man. Let's see how this year plays out. It's gonna be interesting, and I hope Brian Alvarez ain't writing a book one day because these chapters gonna be
that's nasty.
It's gonna be nasty, bro. Like, because shout out to Aaron Rotowski, who wrote a column basically said AEW's main event Mafia era. Check it out. Talking about the 6th year of TNA compared to the 6th year of AEW. And boy, oh boy, are there parallels like a motherfucker.
Oh boy.
I'll actually I'll drop it in the chat here. See if I can find it.
Wow.
I was taking a gaze at it before we went on air, and I think everyone should check it out. So anyway, we can wrap it up, James.
Yeah, because Rich already shield for the the chop teas and also donating to the Rare Circle. We just end the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, MSW Adventure, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Later, y'all.
Peace.
At Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey, Mom, you seen my toothbrush? Yeah, I'm almost done with that.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.